Welcome to the Perham Show. I am here in Perham next to the post office and at the Perham Farmers Market. My guest is Diane Matson, who has been spearheading the Farmers Market in Perham for a long time. And welcome to the Perham Show, and you've got all sorts of stuff going on over here.
We have a lot of great items coming into the market this year. We have a lot more new vendors. We have Lepsa, we have a Norwegian gentleman, we have plants today, and rugs, new ladies with rugs, and then a lot of other new items. We have breads, we have a lot of new fresh veggies coming in.
I can't believe that your tomatoes are already bearing, and my vines are just...
They started in February in 5-gallon pails in a greenhouse.
Well, that explains it.
And I've got cucumbers also that way, and now they're starting to come in. But I did pick the garden yesterday morning.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I tell you what,
they're starting to come in.
Yeah, I look around and like you say, the new vendors compared to last year. I'm seeing the rugs and the plants and quite a few plants. It looks like we've got perennials.
Oh yeah.
I know when I think the first day you were open, I got raspberry canes from you, a whole flat of them. And
how are they doing?
My daughter says that they're starting to bear.
Oh,
this first year.
Yep.
They're
they were so old. They were old canes. They weren't new canes.
Oh well, they're just doing beautifully. So tell me a little bit about your hours here at the Farmers Market.
We are open 9 to 1, Wednesdays and Fridays, and it looks like we've been here rain or shine.
Yeah.
We do have pop-up tents for some of the vendors, and when it was so cold here in May, we were here, but we were with jackets and blankets around us, but we were here for the...
Absolutely. Well, there's no problem with the cold now.
No,
I tell you, we're plenty warm, but the people should be prepared. Most of the vendors will, some of them will take checks, but bring cash. There isn't an ATM here. People aren't using a debit card, to my knowledge, any of the vendors, and so you need to bring cash or check. And
we do have specialties coming up in the month of July. I think the third week we'll have free samples here at the market for pickles and breads.
Is that going to be on Wednesday and Friday?
Yes.
Awesome.
And I believe it's going to be the third week of July.
Very good, very good.
And then as we get into August, our melons will be coming in.
Yes.
And we have a nice variety right now. We got new potatoes, new peas, carrots.
Awesome. Onions.
Lettuce, radishes.
I see a lot of fruit. A lot of the vendors have fruit.
A lot of strawberries and raspberries when they come in season. A lot of baked items, pies, bread,
and homemade
cookies.
Jellies, and I see there's somebody here doing crocheting.
Yes.
And just continually making the things here. But the homemade items with the breads and the jellies and jams, and
we're open for other vendors if they'd like to come.
Okay.
As long as it's homemade or homegrown. Is what we kind of stress for at the farmers market. We don't want anything bought in.
Okay. Is there a phone number, Diane,
where
people can reach you?
218-252-1809, and that's my cell.
Okay.
Or you can contact Sherry at the Chamber of Commerce. She has applications, and she'll get in touch with you.
Okay, very good. So Wednesday mornings, Friday mornings, 9 a.m. to 1. I notice sometimes there's people here a little before 9.
I'm here at 7.
Okay, but most of the vendors are here and ready to go by 9, and the 9 to 1 Wednesday mornings, Friday mornings. We're right here on Main Street of Perham, in the park with a big turtle, and there's a lot of parking. Not, if it looks like it's full on the main street, you can park in the alley. There's a lot of railside parking here, and it's shady, and bring the kids, hang out for the morning and have a good time. So, Diane, best of luck here with the Farmers Market in the upcoming weeks, and make sure you stop in and visit. We'll be right back. We're going to talk to Lina from the museum here at the Farmers Market. Welcome back to the Perham Show. We are here at the Perham Farmers Market next to the post office in the park with a big turtle here in Perham. And my guest is Lina Ballar from ITOW Museum. And we're going to talk about some of the things going on now. We had Jenny Cahy on couple of weeks ago talking about the Quilts of Valor exhibit.
Yes, and it is up through the end of August. It's a wonderful exhibit. Do stop down and see that.
Very good, very good. And your lecture series.
We are well into our lecture series, which started in May, and the fourth one that we're doing here is on August 5th, and that's what I want to tell you about. And that's a book by Barry Lane. It's a book called It's Uphill Most of the Way Down, and it is a story of him going from the Arctic Circle to the Gulf of Mexico in a canoe. And, you know, I was looking at the book as we were getting ready for this, and he goes, well, he started reading about the far north, about men like Eric the Red and Henry Hudson, who had explored some of the same coastal waters that he would travel in. Then apprehension started entering his mind when he read things like polar bears constantly comb the shores in search of food. The Hudson Bay is inhabited by a number of species of whales, including orca or killer whales. And the icy cold waters of the Arctic can cause hypothermia in less than 3 minutes. But I was smitten, and such threats were already too late to quell my interest and enthusiasm. I had an itch inside me that said, go. And, you know, I just think that is so exciting. And, you know, it was maybe 30 years later, his daughter said, you have to write about this. And so that's how he started doing this and putting this book together.
So when was his journey?
It was in the 1970s.
Okay. And Barry Lane is from?
Barry Lane, I believe, lives in the Detroit Lakes area.
Okay.
And anyway, it was his daughter, like I said, you know, who kind of encouraged him to do this. And with her, they put this great book together. I've heard him talk before, and he's a very interesting, very compelling speaker. And I think that's going to be a great part of our lecture series, which the theme this year is history, heritage, and hope. And so every one of them has had, you know, not just a message of history, but also a message of hope. And I think this is a good example of a young man who wanted to do something exciting with his life, and did, and succeeded, and learned a lot about it, you know, by going through the trials and tribulations.
Well, you know, it sounds motivational.
Yes,
in a way
very
too, because
motivational.
for me too, you know,
and
I think
about very
about
spiritual too.
Yeah,
you know?
I think about, you know, launching my kayak and paddling for a while, and then going, oh, you know, I love it, but I'm getting a little tired, and I think
that's
of this
if you
guy
had to, if your life depended on it.
Yeah, going from the Arctic Circle to the Gulf of Mexico.
So quite a trip.
Do you know how long the journey took him?
You know, I don't remember that offhand.
So people are going to have to come.
You'll have to come and listen.
So
to
tell me a little bit more about the event lineup.
It's August 5th at 7 p.m. That's a Friday at the ITOW Veterans Museum, which is 805 West Main in Perham. And
did you say at 6?
At 7. Did I say at 6?
No, maybe you didn't say at all. So 7 o'clock?
At 7 o'clock. August 5th at 7 o'clock.
Okay, at the ITOW Museum. Yeah. And I suppose that, you know, we're talking, you know, hour or two for...
Yeah, usually, usually he'll talk about an hour and then have plenty of time for questions, and we have a little refreshment, so people like to stay to talk with him. He's happy to do that.
I bet he's going to get a lot of questions too. Will he have books for sale there?
I'm sure he will. And this will be a free event, to remind you of that. All our lecture series are free. And there's one more in the lecture series for the summer 2011, and that is going to be in September. And that is Julia Dinsmore, who is a storyteller, a poet, and an artist, and a person who has an intimate knowledge of poverty, and has written a wonderful book called My Name Is Not Those People.
Wow, that sounds wonderful, and that's in September?
That's in September. So come on down to the ITOW Veterans Museum. We're open Monday through Saturday, and we'll have wonderful exhibits there if you haven't been there already, or even if you have, bring somebody who hasn't.
Absolutely. And so the folks that are visiting the area and at their lake cottages and
a great event to do.
What is the phone number, Lina, where people can reach you?
346-7678.
Okay, very good. Barry Lane, August 5th, 7 o'clock. At the ITOW Veterans Museum here in Perham.
I'm looking forward to it. Absolutely.
And I know that you have a great website too. You can probably get there by
ITOWmuseum.org.
Very good. Lina Ballar, thanks so much for being with us again. There's so many things that we have to have you on often.
It's a great town, lots of great things happening.
Lots of great things. From the Perham Farmers Market, thanks for tuning into the Perham Show.